Welcome, ma'am. Welcome,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
Ma'am, we will wait for 2 more minutes, ma'am. Then we will
Yeah.
start.
Yeah, no problem. You take your time. I'll just be on mute until then.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future, says John F. Kennedy. A warm welcome and good noon to one and all joined in this online faculty program on transformation from traditional practices to digital practices in business world. Let's start this second day FDP by raising hearts through this prayer service. Reading from the book of Psalms, chapter 90. May the favor of the Lord our God rest on us, establish the work of our hands for us. Yes, establish the work of our hands, and so you will eat the fruit of your labor. Blessings and prosperity will be yours. Heavenly Father, thank you for all the blessings you have bestowed upon us. We are truly grateful for them. Thank you for allowing us today to meet and share our knowledge and time with one another on this FTP. May you extend your divine wisdom to our speakers so that they would be able to impart effectively their God given knowledge to all of us. May they be blessed as they continue to bring their experience to educate the faculty members. Bless the faculty members, dear Lord, so that they would be able to glean the vital information from this activity. May we realize that this activity should glorify your name. This we ask in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Now I call upon Dr. Janani, Assistant Professor from Department of Commerce, to welcome the gathering.
Good afternoon to one and all gathered here virtually for the second day of Faculty Development Program. On behalf of the PG and Research Department of Commerce, Holy Cross College, it is a great honor and pleasure for me to welcome everyone for this virtual national level faculty development program on transformation from traditional practices to digital practices in business world. It's my privilege to welcome our innovative and dynamic principal, Reverend Sister Bridget, to grace this occasion. We proudly stand up here addressing our first speaker, Mrs. Sharada Ashok, who have accepted our invite amidst her busy schedule to impart her knowledge with us. Ma'am is practicing as a chartered accountant for full time, and she is also a treasurer in ICAI Salem branch. She has experience of being a statutory auditor for nationalized banks and concurrent auditor of City Union Bank. We are happy to have a gem of a person among us for today's session. We welcome you, ma'am. It's my pleasure to welcome Session 2 speaker of today's FDP, Mr. Vignesh Kumar. He is a chartered accountant. Sir has worked as a lecturer and head of the Department of Commerce in Vaisya College, Salem from 2002 to 2005. Sir has received various meritorious and endowment awards for studies and in the profession of teaching. Sir is giving career awareness program to various students across Tamil Nadu till date. Today, we proudly welcome him for this session. Welcome, sir. I'm happy to extend a warm welcome to all the professors from other colleges to get benefited out of this session. Finally, I welcome all my dear faculty and friends for this session. Thank you. Now, I hand over the session to you, ma'am. Now, I hand over.
Okay, shall I start? Hello, am I audible? Vignesh sir, am I audible?
Yes,
Can I
yes,
start?
audible.
Yes, ma'am. Please start, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. First and foremost, thanks for this wonderful opportunity. And in your prayers, you had the speakers. You had prayed for the speakers, and I think today both the speakers really need prayers. I have a very bad tooth, and it got just extracted. And the other speaker, just 15 minutes back, had a great fall, and he is just sitting with the pain. We really need God's blessings, both of us, to speak today. Thank you for the prayers. Anyway, respected principal and head of PG Research and Development of Commerce Department of Holy Cross College, Dr. Sister Christina Bridget, Associate Professor and Staff Coordinator, Dr. Sahitya, and the other organizing committee. Very good afternoon to one and all. In fact, it gives us such a motivation to talk to professors. We are used to talk to students, and this time we are going to have a new experience talking to professors. Hope we fulfill your need. Okay, so we have been given a task as to how digitalization has been affecting a chartered accountancy and a chartered accountancy profession. So before that, I would just want to give a brief note as to what this ICAI Institute is and how it goes about. Okay, the first thing, ICAI is the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and it was actually formed by a statute, or it is a statutory body under the, it's a statutory body, and it has been formed by a special thing by the parliament. Okay, so it is a part of the government resolution, a part of the government, it's a part of the government. Okay, this ICAI is having its head office at Delhi, and it is having its branches all over. So that is the head. Delhi is only going to be, the head for all the branches all over India for the ICAI Institute. This is just a small gist about ICAI, and what are these chartered accountants doing? What is chartered accountancy? What are the chartered accountants doing? I'll just give you a brief note about it. Chartered accountancy is a profession who are going to give a validation that your accounts gives a true and fair view to accounts. So I am sure all whoever are here, you're all from the commerce stream, right? So it is a chartered accountant who is going to vouch for the trueness and the fairness of accounts. So a lot of responsibilities and lot of shouldering of responsibility is done by a chartered accountant to give the correctness and the true and fairness of accounts of any business. Okay, so this is the basic thing. And if you ask what does a chartered accountant do, everybody would say they would audit the accounts and give, right? So what does that mean? So it is just that they are going to say that these accounts are correct and true and fair to my knowledge. So it is they are going to give that declaration. So for that, you should be a qualified chartered accountant. Only then you are having the authority to give the trueness of accounts. Okay, so this is just a brief about a chartered accountancy. And as you all know, a chartered accountancy profession is the most sought after profession in India, because the whole of India, there are approximately not more than 3 lakh chartered accountants, max 3 lakh chartered accountants. So you can just imagine what is the population of India, and comparatively how many chartered accountants are there. So the demand for a chartered accountancy profession is always increasing year after year, and the demand is increasing. Why? Because every year business is also growing. As and when the business is growing, the demand for a chartered accountancy profession is also growing. So we can always say this profession is the most sought after profession. Okay, so now we will just go into a brief note of how it was previously and how digitalization has transformed. Okay, so since the topic that has been that we have been given is digitalization, we would just see how it was and how it is now. Okay, right. So a few years back, we were using regular phones, right? So are we using the regular phones? We have transformed into cell phones. A few years back, we didn't have smartphones. We have just small cell phones. Even now, that has been transformed into smartphones, touch phones and all that thing. So for even a phone, there has been a lot of transformation from a regular phone that we used to have at home to the latest smartphones, right? So right from that, and booking tickets, what would we do when we go to the film theaters? We used to stand in the big queue and buy tickets. Now what is happening? You have an app, mobile app, you just buy the tickets and you keep going. That is transformation. Everywhere there's been digitalization. Now there are no big crowds and big showrooms to buy dresses and all those things. But just by a click of a button, you go to any website, you have thousands and thousands of options. That is a transformation again in the business field. So everywhere you see, there has been a transformation into digitalization, right? So similarly, there has been a transformation into digitalization in the CA profession also. All see, gone are the days when there was test checking and checking with the ledger and all those things. It would take days and days for us to check and do a audit and submit the report. Now all everything has been digitalized, and it has really taken 3/4 of our it has saved 3/4 of our times now. So, and not only that, we can proudly say it is possible to give 100% accuracy after digitalization than it was in a regular mode. Okay, so digitalization has really transformed the full face of the CA profession. So the next speaker, he's going to deal with everything in detail. So I will just give a shell of everything, and Mr. Vignesh Kumar is going to in detail give you the transformation for each and every step in a CA profession. Okay, so see, actually, change is the only thing that has to be accepted. So when you accept the change, what happens? We will definitely keep marching forward. So what happened is COVID-19, according to me, it's the best accelerating way to rise the digital economy. See, this almost 1.5 years, you could have seen a drastic increase in digitalization. So accelerated digital adoption has been the in thing for the last 1.5 years, especially after COVID-19. Everybody realized the importance of having accounts digitalized, you having everything digitalized. In fact, even now I'm able to sit at Salem and able to deliver what I want to speak at the comfort of my office. So such is the comfort of digitalization. So one thing is, yes, it has definitely transformed. And see, there are for without any risk, there is no reward, right? So there is a risk, an element of risk in any form of change. So for all that, we have to just battle and come forward. And for that risk that you have taken, there is always a reward. Okay, so um, how our CA profession has been digitalized is, right from those days in the 1990s, everything was in the form of books. So it would be like checking each and every vouchers, we would be checking each and every ledgers, and we would be checking each and every invoices, and it was really a Herculean task. Now, after you have everything digitalized, just a click of a button, it has really provided what was being done over a period of time has really transformed into just a few hours or just a few days, max a few days, and with really 100% accuracy in our test checking, and almost 100% accuracy in giving a true and fair view of accounts. So digitalization, and in the modern era, everything has become digitalized. Even today morning, when an Amazon person came home and he refused to accept cash and he wanted only Google Pay. Very good move. It's actually a very good move. So everywhere we can see digitalization, right from from the even nowadays, getting newspaper because of the corona, many have got paranoid in buying the newspapers, and everybody is now started e-newspapers and everything. So the whole world is moving towards the digitization era. So what happens is, when the world and the business is moving towards the digitalization era, it is necessary for any chartered accountant to be well equipped in such a transformation. Only then it is possible for them to really survive in any kind of situation. So having the knowledge of digitalization and having the knowledge of the latest electronic mode of communication is definitely a very important knowledge for any chartered accountant at this point in time. So so what happened is, previously all the records, everything were manually filed, and now if everything has become digitally filed, and I think that would be taken in detail by CA Vignesh Kumar. And I would really just want to end my speech with just a small note. Just I'm proud that I am a chartered accountant, because this profession has given us a lot of mental strength. Why I'll tell you mental strength is, first and foremost, passing this exam is a very tough exam, and after you pass, you definitely get a mental strength. And this has also given us such a wide knowledge of the business. And one more thing is, this profession doesn't demand any retirement at all. So this profession has no age entry, or it doesn't have any retirement age also, and that is giving us a real mental strength to carry on as a profession, as a chartered accountant. And just before ending, I just want to give a small note. Today is International Day of Peace, and so let us all strengthen the ideal of peace and non-violence, as the world is now healing from COVID-19 pandemic. Let us celebrate the Peace Day by focusing on restoring sustainable and a healthier world. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. I'm really sorry for cutting my short, because I have a severe toothache today, but I didn't want to miss out on the opportunity that was being given to me. Thanks to the organizers for giving me an opportunity. Thank you, and over to CA Vignesh Kumar for giving a detailed view on this matter. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sir, the session is now yours, sir. You can take over.
Vignesh sir, you're not audible.
Yes, sir. Kindly unmute yourself, sir.
No, sir, you're still not audible.
So kindly unmute your mic, sir. Sorry, sir.
No, you're not audible. Full charge camera off பண்ணிட்டேன்.
Ma'am, now it's audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sharda ma'am, for giving this platform to me. A very good afternoon to one and all virtually gathered here. A respected patron, Dr. Sister Christina Bridget, Principal and Head, PG and Research Department of Commerce. Respected convener, Dr. Sahayita, Associate Professor and Staff Coordinator, PG and Research Department of Commerce. respected organizing committee members, Dr. Madhuravalli, Dr. Mahalakshmi, Dr. Janani, and Dr. Nestor Daffodil, Assistant Professors of Commerce, Management, faculty members, and students of Holy Cross College, Tiruchirappalli, and the respected and beloved participants of this session, a warm afternoon once again. Really, it gives me immense pleasure to be a part of this 5 days virtual National Faculty Development Program on transformation from traditional practices to digital practices in business world. It's really difficult to speak in an online platform and also in an afternoon session. Actually, in my profile itself, ma'am already read out that I have been working as a teaching faculty just before some 12 to 13 years. Really, I know the real difficulty faced by the teaching faculties. It is very, very difficult to teach and also listen in a session. And also in an online platform, it is a very, very difficult session because I'm not able to see any of your face, not able to see your reactions, not able to see whether you are really like my speech and all. But having hope with all you, I'm just sharing what I know about this digitalization of CA environment. And I want to share some of the thoughts about the chartered accountancy, the curriculum, the profession, what is the present economy in income tax, GST, and all, everything I want to share with you. This platform is always for us. Our session, I have to make my points first, then we have to make it as an interaction session. Kindly, please ask any of your queries, any of your thoughts about this digitalization in accounting or I'm ready to answer the queries which I know to the best of my level. The exact title of this 5 days program is Transformation from Traditional Practices to Digital Practices in Business World. They are using the term transformation. So we are not finding a new one. We are not detecting a new one. We are not discovering a new one. All the transactions, all the practices, this has already existing. But we have done all these things in a traditional manner, manual things, conventional techniques. Now all these things are simply converted into digital and information technology background. Earlier also we have banks without ATM machines. We went banks writing challans, writing check, submitted to counter, getting cash, come back to home. Now we are just doing online transaction. Banks are there. Earlier we have cinema theaters. We just went cinema theaters, standing on a very big queue, getting tickets, seeing the film coming. Now we are booking it in online. Earlier we have trains, flights, everything. Now we have to book our ticket online. So all the things are already being existing in this world. Now the approach towards the activities are simply transformed from a conventional thing to a digital thing. That's all. Digitalization or information technology, it's a very big boon. It is giving a very big thing to the society and all. Whether it is really a boon or ban, that itself is to be discussed. Among the various contemporary topics on these 5 days, I have been allotted the topic, the shift to digital in the CA world, the chartered accountancy world. I strongly believe that some of you have already knowing about this course, chartered accountancy. Some of you or many of you have already visited an auditor's office for filing your income tax returns and all. Some of your family members may be practicing as a chartered accountant, or some of your children may study a CA course and all. Definitely, you are better having a knowledge of what is CA, what is this curriculum and all, everything. CA is a two-letter word. Everyone thought that the most toughest course and hot profession in India. Sir, is it really true? For studying CA is a very, very difficult one. Many of us are thought like that, but reality is somewhat different. It is not that much a difficult course. One of the topmost difficult course, if we taken some 4 or 5 courses, definitely CA will be one of the toughest course. but it needs some of the dedication and hard work to complete that course. That's all. But till the date of qualifying a chartered accountant, we are all having a single thought that whether we could pass or not, whether we could qualify or not. But after qualifying the CA final examination, we are having huge pressure in our mind, day by day, daily, the amendments, the circulars, the notifications, the changes, the government policy, everything, day by day, it has been changing. We could update our knowledge. Daily, we could update our knowledge. If tomorrow morning I will wake up from my bed and I will open my WhatsApp, I will get various notifications. RBI is giving this announcement. Ministry of Corporate Affairs is giving this announcement. GST rate is reduced. Bank rate is increased. Loan rate is reduced. Tamil newspapers, English newspapers, all are giving their own interpretations of the government's rule. All our clients are calling, sir, I have seen a WhatsApp message, sir. I have seen a Facebook message, whether it is really true or not. So much of pressure every chartered accountants are having. Sir, why it all happens? Sometimes we could get more pressure and aversion of having this digital environment. Before some 20, 25 years, if you are seeing some old Tamil films and all, the clients, the assessees are having more honor and more respect towards their family doctor, family lawyer, and family auditors and all. Whatever the auditor says, the assessee will accept on those days. They have been accepting. Because the auditor is our family auditor. Whatever he tells, that is for good to our business, our family, they believe. But today, when an assessee is entering into an auditor office, he itself is studying various provisions by Google and Facebook, WhatsApp and all. He is giving idea to auditor. Sir, I have to do this. My friend is doing this, sir. He is doing smuggling, sir. He is doing black money transactions, sir. He is doing some black market operations, sir. Shall I also do it, sir? Is it okay or not? What advice he needs from auditor is really having a very big question mark. Sir, why this profession is like this? Really, the digitalization is the real cause for all these blunders. Before moving into that, for every change, what ma'am already says, change is inevitable. Without adopting anything, we could not survive, we could not grow ourselves. Definitely, in each and every segment, each and every scenario, eras, the changes are regularly happening, frequently occurring. We should adopt it. In management, we are saying a word, resistance to change. Normally, in a labor environment, in a factory, in a college and all, everything, if there is a change will occur, immediately human mindset is giving a resisting. Sir, why there is a change? College timing is 10 to 5. Simply the college management is changing the time from 11 to 6. Immediately we will oppose it. Why it is 11 to 6? Already it is 10 to 5. It is a good timing only. Without understanding or without knowing the real reason for changing the timing, immediately we would resist ourselves. But later on, we could adopt the change. Sir, why these changes are happen? Whether sometimes I may go beyond my scope of topic. So I will come to that. All these changes in this accounting, taxation, auditing of CA world, really good or bad? Before moving that, we could understand the CA world, the CA environment first. Among the various professional courses, chartered accountancy is the recognized profession for accounting and auditing in India. We have cost accountancy, CMA, company secretaryship, CS, other some ACCA, some other diploma courses and all, various courses are there. But chartered accountants are having the attesting functions. For all the income tax returns, some of the returns required by government authorities, definitely they require the signature of a chartered accountant. Chartered accountancy profession is administered by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, set up by a special act of parliament in the year 1949. So all our profession is administered by an institute, which is a special body. It's a quasi-government based institute. It has been administered
Excuse me, sir. Your voice is breaking, sir.
by a central council and 5 Ma'am, it's audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sorry, ma'am. Somewhat a network error here. Yeah. So there are various committees are formed by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India for giving suggestions and advices to government before submitting the Finance Act, the Finance Bill, budget to Parliament. Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is giving some suggestions to government. Whatever the changes in respect of economic development is to be taken by the government, whether it is a central government or state government, they would like to get the suggestions of the CA Institute, and after the suggestion is implemented, they would get the review of our institute. Nothing is permanent in this world except a change. Yes. CA profession also adopting changes then and there as it is required. Back in 2008, when I entered in CA profession, I thought that chartered accountants are expected to be perfect in their accounting skills. Really, I thought like that. Before entering into CA profession, when I was working as a professor in a college, what I thought is, for getting good accounting knowledge, good taxation knowledge is more sufficient for becoming a successful chartered accountant. I thought that. Then only I joined the chartered accountancy profession and becoming a practicing chartered accountant. But later on, I have to verify from a viewpoint of substance over form. Consider materiality to form a true and fair view. Sir, what does it mean? What I thought is getting a good accounting skill is required, but the reality is somewhat different. Auditors are not writing accounts. Auditors are not responsible for preparing the financial statements. In reality, the assessee, the client, the business people, the traders, they are responsible for preparing the financial statements. The auditor's role is only to verify the financial statements and expressing their opinion whether the financial statements are really giving true and fair view. This is the only requirement of the CA profession. They need our opinion only. We are not having a right of preparing the accounts. Just imagine, I am writing books of accounts. I am writing journal, ledger, and I am preparing balance sheet. I am verifying the balance sheet whether it is correct or not. It is a huge controversy. Sir, I am writing the answer sheet and I am verifying the answer sheet. I am valuing the answer sheet. No, it is not good. The students are writing the answer sheets. We, the faculty members, are correcting the answer sheets. That is the requirement here. So the accounting, the financial statements have been preparing by the concerned people. The auditors are responsible to express their opinion on the financial statements. Sir, what do you mean by that opinion? Everybody knows accounting well. In some cases, the plus one accounting teacher has more accounting knowledge than a chartered accountant in fundamental accounting principles, conventions, and all. But the attesting power and the opinion power is in the hands of a chartered accountant only. The government, banker, the legal authorities are relying the financial statements attested by a chartered accountant. So they need our signature. So before reporting, before giving our opinion on a financial statements, if you are seeing a balance sheet of a company, so these are all my assets, these are all my liabilities, this is my cash, this is my bank balance, this is my bank loan and all. Bottom, a chartered accountant is signed. The reader of a financial statements is having the belief that all the items mentioned in this statement is correct because it has been attested by a chartered accountant. A student's 10th mark sheet or plus 2 mark sheet Xerox copy is there. It is attested by the principal or headmaster of the respected school or college we immediately believe that yes, it has been attested by a qualifying authority, then it is a good statement only. So before giving my attestation, before giving my signature to the accounts of my client, I have to consider whether the financial statements are prepared in accordance with the applicable accounting standards established in India. Yes, the accounting are prepared as per the government norms. The accounting are prepared as per the income tax provisions. The accounting are prepared as per the GST principles. I have to verify. I have to do all these prima facie work, and I have to satisfy myself that the fundamental accounting policies are properly adopted. The major consideration of adopting accounting policies are three: materiality, prudence, substance over form. These three are the major considerations. Number one, materiality. Sir, what do you mean by materiality? Materiality is nothing but the quantum of importance. Just we are saying, we are getting a salary of some 40,000 rupees. We are withdrawing that amount from an ATM machine, hot cash of 40,000 rupees. We are holding the 40,000 rupees in the packets, traveling, coming to our home. Just by taking and counting, 100 rupees is missing. 100 rupees is missing. We just thinking where it was left and all. We are not that much worrying, because out of that 40,000, 100 rupees is not a great amount. Okay, 40,000, 100 rupees is a very small, very tiny proportion. When we are entering into a vegetable market, 2,000, 3,000 is a very normal amount. So materiality is the quantum of importance, whatever to be considered, whatever not considered. In a business firms and all, we are verifying the various books of accounts, ledgers, salaries, rent, printing and stationery, traveling, other expenses, miscellaneous expenses. Some of the small items are items, very tiny items. So before finalizing an audit report, the auditor should verify whether there is a concept of materiality is adopted, which means all the required, all the necessary documents or necessary amounts are properly accounted. Materiality means that it is not necessary to report all the items in the financial statements. Only material items are to be reported. I have already told that there are three major considerations are important. One is called materiality. Second one is called prudence. In accounting, the revenues and incomes will be recognized only in certain of its realization. I am purchasing a lottery ticket. I may expect that prize will be awarded to my name. I could not account it unless I will receive that amount. So it will not be accounted on accrual basis. Revenue, only I will put it as revenue on receipt basis. When I receive that amount, I will fix it as a revenue in my account. But losses, liabilities and all, if I have to predict a loss will be incurred, I have to account it. That is called provision. Sir, I have to pay some 40,000 rupees as a legal duty in my next month. Okay, put a provision. Sir, I have to pay in a court case, I have to pay a compensation. Please create a provision. Sir, I am a bank. I have lent some amount to some borrowers. I know that these persons will not repay that amount. Yes, it's a bad debt. Create a provision. So whatever may be the liabilities, losses and all, proper provisions should be created. It is called prudence. The third major consideration is substance over form. Substance over form. It is a very, very interesting phrase. Document is not important. Reality is important. I have a land document in my hand. In that land document, it shows that the value of the land is some 1 crore. But in real, the value of the land is somewhat higher. So in periodically, we have to verify and value the assets and liabilities. Periodical physical verification is very, very important. That is called a substance over form. Don't always giving importance to what the documents you are having. Please refer and analyze the reality what is happening. In my class attendance, 50 students' names are there. Out of that, some 4 students are long absentees. They are not attending the classes for so long. Sir, only 46 is my real strength, but I am always telling 50 students. I am getting all the benefits, all the resources for 50, 50, 50 and all. That is form, that is in document, but in reality, it is only 46. So in accounting also, every auditor should consider this materiality, prudence, substance over form. In our earlier conventional or traditional CA environment, that is before the great era of implementation of information technology, the verification of all these considerations are really difficult because every client is having voluminous data. On those days, some 15, 20 years before, when a client is coming to auditor's office, he will bring big shopper's bag by having huge bounded accounts books, by having some hundreds of files consisting of vouchers, bills, invoices, day-to-day expenditure also, he is putting a file in different receipts. On those days, after March till September, when you are visiting an auditor's office, see the room of the auditor, hall, storeroom and all, big bags are there. Those bags which are consisting of huge hard copies of data. Whether the auditor is able to verify all these documents, really, no, not at all. Practically, it is not at all possible. 100% verification. That's why our CA Institute is framing a term, giving absolute insurance on financial statements are not at all possible. We can give only reasonable assurance. We cannot give 100% certification to any of the client that he will do all of its transactions in accordance with the law. We will not. It is not at all possible. So in those days, by having all these physical documents, the verification really having huge difficult to every auditor. Later on, accounting was considered to be all about accounting standards. Now it is recognized as IND-AS, Indian Accounting Standards, internationally recognized as IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards, and about the disclosure requirements. Sir, why there is a need of accounting standards? Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is responsible to issue accounting standards. Sir, accounting has its own rules and regulations. I don't know how many of faculties from Commerce Department and all, you know very well about it. We have some fundamental accounting concepts and conventions. Preparation of accounting, we have some basic rules. So this is debit, this is credit, this is ledger, this is trial balance, this is balance sheet. All for this, we have some set of rules. But why there is a need of accounting standards? Already we are having some rules and regulations for preparing accounts from 14th century itself. But now, the past 20 years, there is a big word is again and again using accounting standards. What is the purpose? To maintain the uniformity. My friend is preparing an accounting. He will prepare a balance sheet. I am also preparing a balance sheet. Someone is preparing the balance sheet. The final answer is correct. But the format, but the headings, subheadings, classifications are all having different things. We are all not machines by giving the same kind of report. If I am requesting you all to kindly write a leave letter, almost 39 are there in this portal. All the 39 leave letters are not same. We are just using from to the body of the content. Somebody is using a direct speech, indirect speech, adjectives, adjuncts. So the languages are used in different thing. Sir, but I need a uniformity in writing all the leave letters. For attaining that, I have to prepare a format and submitting that format. I am requesting you to only fill the data. Then only I will get a uniformity. Likewise, accounting standards are issued by the institute only for maintaining the uniformity in reporting. Whomsoever the reader of the financial statement. If I am preparing the profit and loss account and balance sheet of my client, he will submit these documents to Income Tax Department, GST Department, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, the banks in which he is obtaining loan, shareholders, creditors. All these persons are reading the financial statements, but all those persons are not having adequate accounting knowledge. There is a chemistry professor in this forum. He is investing some 1 lakh rupee in Reliance company share. He is an expert in chemistry, but he doesn't know anything about accounting. At the end of 1 year, the Reliance company is giving the financial statement to the chemistry professor. He is seeing, he doesn't know what is fixed asset, what is current asset, what is current liability, what is share capital and all. Sir, why? So accounting standards purposes, whomsoever reading the financial statements are get good understanding and having reasonable understanding of the items entered in that financial statement. That is the only requirement of accounting standards. While we were trying to cope up with the international standards during all these years, there were drastic changes globally in people's approach in carrying out their businesses. While the business owners were adopting to the new technologies and latest modes of carrying out their business, which included digitalization of the transactions, payments, communication, etc., we should also develop ourselves. One of my clients is installing his own customized software in billing. He's running a departmental store. He has its own software. At the end of 1 year, he will bring accounts in that software printout. I have to develop myself. I am entering into a bank. Indian Bank is following a different software. State Bank of India is following a different software. Canara Bank is following different software. Pinnacle, bank, server, the various software's name. I have to read all these provisions. I have to understand the software. Earlier days, the chartered accountants are reading rules and regulations, provisions. Nowadays, I have to learn first which is a shortcut key for getting printout, which is a key for seeing a file. What is the rule? What is the command for giving merging of file, downloading of file? Before starting my audit, I have to learn and I have to update myself that the basic requirements of the software programming. The reality is like this. Without having the knowledge of information technology, it is not at all possible to practice as a chartered accountant in the present scenario. CA curriculum in India have always been kept traditional all these years since the independence, where the business developments have happened in a phased manner in the last 5 years. There has been complete change in the way of business is looked at in India. Even the last 5 years, from the year 2017, when the GST was rolled out, entire thing is computerized and digitalized. Without having the knowledge, if I am being a chartered accountant, earlier days, a student is studying BCom or MBA, MCom and all, we are suggesting the students, please study CA, please study ACS, CMA and all. You could develop your accounting taxation knowledge. But today, for filing a GST return, I have to get understanding Excel, Tally, JSON file, PDF file, JPG, XML, all these language-based system updation knowledge I should have first. People have been shifted to digital means to transact, be in marketing, sales, payments, etc. Having understood this, one has to realize the requirement for a complete shift in the curriculum of CA and the approach which should be deliberated for the CA students from the old school to the digital era. Before some 20 years, chartered accountancy course having the subjects of accounting, auditing, company law, taxation and all. Nowadays, definitely we are having a paper called the Information Technology, Management Information System. We are giving training to students, information technology training, advanced information technology training, all the training we are giving before they have to get in pass of CA final examination. Sir, whether this is really important for becoming a chartered accountant, accounting is important or information technology is important. Just by having accounting knowledge without having the knowledge of IT is not at all useful nowadays. Why it is so important? Of course, this would be the first question which anyone would get in their mind while starting this topic. We have always seen in Indian movies cinema, Tamil film or Telugu film, Hindi film, whatever it may be, the police arrive at the scene after the incident is occurred and the mischief has happened. This culture remains throughout all the verticals in India, including the professional environment. Whenever things are happen, we will see the detection measure. In auditing, we could use an important terminology, prevention and detection of fraud and error. After a fraud is identified, we should detect who have been committed this fraud. That is different. Please do some preventive measure. Fraud could not be happen. That is the real requirement here. Prevention Ma'am, it is audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But your voice is breaking, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, ma'am, it's audible. Ma'am, sorry, it is audible now, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir,
Yeah,
it's
thank you.
audible
Thank you.
now.
Sorry for the small interruption. There was some network error, ma'am. I just now changed the system. I'll continue, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Now, we have seen various aspects regarding how a conventional system is slowly transformed into digital era. There was a time when e-commerce entered the Indian economy. It was a welcome move where trading of products was moved from showrooms to cell phone. Ticket booking was moved from Windows to mobile apps. Yes, today the vegetables and foodstuffs are procured through online, but two-wheelers and cars are sold in platforms. What a tragic change. The Indian systems have, after deliberating on the subject, have lately comforted themselves with the way e-commerce works, excluding the bureaucrats who are still struggling to understanding the modes of operation due to lack of training. Again, it is because of their curriculum which still remains old school. So, just by having the traditional system of absorbing everything, nowadays it is very, very difficult to understanding what has really happened in this electronic commerce environment. The accounting profession is broadly concerned with the measurement and communication of financial information. Measurement and communication. Today, network is very important. Sir, what do you mean by network? Just a sharing of information. I don't want to share any of the information. I definitely not in a need of network. In a business environment, I have my head office in one city. I have branches in various other cities. Without having a network, a proper management is a really difficult one. Just imagine some 20 years before, if you are having a bank account in Tanjavur, It is possible only to withdraw the amount and deposit the amount in the Tanjavur branch itself. I'm just visiting an official meeting to Chennai. I need some cash. In my account, I have huge cash. But in Chennai, withdrawal of cash in the same bank in a different branch is a difficult task on those days. But nowadays, sir, it is very, very easy to withdraw cash and deposit cash anywhere in India, anywhere in the world. Reason? Core banking solution, CBS. Connection of networks, connecting the various branches. Simply speaking, I am having a Canara Bank account. I will withdraw cash from State Bank of India ATM. It is possible nowadays only because of networking. Digitalization has the potential to enhance the accounting profession by reducing the cost of maintaining and reconciling ledgers and providing absolute certainty over the ownership and history of assets. Without having information technology, we need more labor force. Those days and all, when manual accounting is followed, we should appoint some 10 to 20 people for doing accounting work. But now we need only 2 to 3 people with sufficient accounting and technical knowledge. We could manage our business in a very, very effective manner. Digitalization could help accountants gain clarity over the available resources and obligations of their organizations, because nowadays doing business is easy, getting profit is easy, but adoption of compliance norms of government is very, very difficult. If we know, we are all teaching faculties, we know that taking classes are very easy, but we have some non-academical commitments towards the college management that is very difficult. We have to maintain various databases, various reporting activities in some government colleges, government schools and all. The teachers are doing more other works than teaching. So all these compliance norms, digitalization is very important. It will give more knowledge and more comfortness for me to do all my compliance proceedings. Having said the above, the auditors in India would need immense training on the concept of blockchain, artificial intelligence, digital considerations, which they need to keep in mind before commencement of any audit, which is being managed in the digital environment. The stakeholders, I'm not using the word shareholders, I am using the word stakeholders. Who are all called stakeholders? Sir, who are all having relationship with the concern called stakeholders? In a college, who are all called stakeholders? Management, professors, students, parents, non-academic staff members, the place in which the college is situated, the local authority, the university in which the college is affiliated, the state government, all these persons are collectively called as stakeholders. My decision is influenced by any of the stakeholders, or else my decision will affect any of these stakeholders. So the stakeholders of the company completely rely upon the report of the auditors. Everyone is relying on the report of the auditors. The stakeholders being layman to the entire system of the company. Sir, I want to invest in a share market. I have some 10,000 rupees in my hand. I'm just verifying in Google which company share I have to purchase. I am seeing there is a company XYZ Limited situated in Ahmedabad. It shows a very good profit for the past 4 years. I'm investing my 10,000 in that XYZ Limited. I don't know anything about that XYZ Limited. Who was the promoter? Who was in the administration? Which type of business they are carrying? I am just giving my investment. But I am trusting each year's auditor's report before making my investment. Yes, there is a chartered accountant is giving his report. I have to rely. It is usually important that where the auditors are not technically sound, till they attain proper training on the subject, they should jointly carry out their audit assignments with proper technically sound and qualified professionals to have a comfort on the accounting systems. ICAI, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, is telling, please develop your information technology skills, or else do your assignments with the persons, those who are having technologically sound skills. To have a comfort on accounting systems, the regulatory body of the accountants should come up with the standards to operate and also audit in such an environment. We have a standard. Getting work from other persons, relying the work performed from other technical persons, we have to adopt those standards. The digital era in the accountancy should be taken as an opportunity by the newly qualified chartered accountants, where they are much aware and comfortable with the entire management of the digital environment than the traditional firms operating in the market. I still know that in the year 2007, Income Tax Department is introducing e-filing, electronic filing. Many of the senior auditors are opposing, because they have qualified in 1960s, 1970s, when computers are not greatly maintained in auditors' offices. They are not satisfying. But the newly qualified auditors, later, they are having much knowledge and aware of technological skills. Just imagine the children using Android phones in our home. Some of the elderly people are having in our home, they still not having awareness of using a smartphone. They are just making a call or attending the call or cutting the call. That's why they don't know how to forward a message, how to download a file and all. A 3-year kid is knowing more than them. So the newly qualified auditors are having much more technical knowledge. Also, the traditional firms can closely work with the newly qualified chartered accountant professionals to get a comfort on the accounting environment of their clients if it is operating using the modern techniques as explained above. This is not the end. It is only a beginning of the new era. And having considered the entrepreneur aspirations in the new generation, there are a lot more changes in the environment expected in near future. Just before 5 years, today is different. Next 5 years will be definitely different. In future, technological companies doing auditing profession will be definitely achieved. The conventional auditors offices we are having. In auditing environment, we are using the terms CAT, computer assisted audit techniques or computer aided audit techniques. So without having adequate knowledge in computers, whatever the knowledge we are having, computers are not sufficient. And it is not static also. It will be updated day by day. Daily programs are improving. Daily softwares are giving. Daily so many updations are available. So without adopting all these changes, it is very difficult to survive in CA environment. We are entering a new phase where old practices have come to a standstill. Emerging trends have taken over business processes at a much faster, aggressive pace, threatening to obliterate of unwilling. Some chartered accountants still, they are not happy of changing this environment. Still, they are asking their clients to bring accounting books in physical format. They are giving the advice to their clients to submit all the details in papers and all. The client is slowly moving from that auditor to some other auditor, because everyone is willing to do their work in an easy and simplest manner. Adopting compliances is very important nowadays. For adopting compliances, digitalization is an unavoidable thing. Auditing firms, both large and small, have been reluctant participants in this journey. A lot has changed over the years. Just I am having some comparative thing, because I have to talk more on digitalization, but the topic what I have been allotted is digitalization in the CA world. That's why I am more concentrating on how an auditor office is functioning with respect to this digitalization era. A lot has changed over these years. In practice scenario of 1990s was quite different from a CA office today. In those days, already I told you, if you are visiting an auditor office, ledger books, calculators, color pencils are using. In earlier days, the newly joined trainees, we are telling articled clerks, the CA pursued students are getting training under an auditor for a minimum of 3 years. When the newly trained trainees are joining in an auditor office, we are giving big color pencils to the persons. They are doing vouching work. Vouching is nothing but verification of vouchers, bills, invoices, etc. For verifying the bills and all, we are using different color pencils. In stationery shops on those days, it were sold in the name of vouching pencils. Those days gone out. Now the entire things were computerized. hard bound ledger books, accountancy notebooks, income tax return books are replaced with the cloud servers. Nowadays, no printouts are taken in an auditor office. In olden days, you are seeing a Tamil film or Telugu film, Hindi film and all. If a lawyer or an auditor is to be shown, backside of that lawyer or auditor, big bound books are stored in a showcase. But nowadays, it is not there. If you are visiting an auditor office, you are seeing only computers and laptops are there. Still, some auditors are having big act books, bound books and all. Definitely, his age is more than 60. They are very seniors. They are only having all these physical copies. The newly qualified, in the recent 10 years qualified chartered accountants are having all these things in cloud service. Information technology has changed the way we work and also where we work. Technology or tech-powered solutions are already beginning to automate certain traditional services, such as bookkeeping, compliances, filing, registration to regulatory authorities. Among these services, the gaining ground or business process automation, compliance automation, everything is automated. Nowadays, the process is important than the person. On those days, if you are visiting a bank, a single person is always being a cashier, only two persons. One day he will sit, next day they will sit. In government offices and all, that person will do that work. If you are going on a particular day, that officer is not available in that office, the work will be postponed definitely tomorrow. But nowadays, process is important. Who will come, who will not coming is not at all an importance. This is the SOP. This is the standard on procedure. This is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3. Whoever doing the work, they will adopt that SOP. If I will enter into my college or office, I will put my biometric thumb impression. I will sit in my system. I will put on my system. Instructions will come. I will follow that instructions. Who will sit on my next table? Who will do my next work? I don't know anything. I have to follow only my own SOP. The major objective of audit is, already I told you, to express opinion on the financial statements. In addition, with the secondary objective is prevention and detection of frauds and errors. Starting with the basic responsibility of detecting fraud, audit report format has undergone a significant change over these years. We need to look at what things we can change, especially those within our control. Accountancy professors are very much knowing that. Balance sheet. It's a T-form balance sheet. One side is debit, another one side is credit. One is liability, one is asset. Both sides will be tallying. For tallying a balance sheet is a very big task to every accountant. But nowadays, the format itself is changed. It is a vertical format. It is changing the various titles, headings, classifications and all. We have to adapt it. If we have to assess the risk of fraud, for example, we need to exhaustively verify all transactions 100%. In conventional, that is traditional audit, 100% verification is not at all possible. We have to make audit only in a sample base. But in a modern environment, in a computerized auditing requirement, it is possible for us to verify 100% because the work is too much computerized. The human intervention is comparatively lesser. The systems and information technology is adopting all these things. Just I am comparing, we will see some of the works undertaken by a chartered accountant and how it was changed due to information technology. A few examples. Number one is PAN card. Every one of us is having PAN card, PAN number, permanent account number. We all know that PAN card is a basic document by the income tax department, issued by the income tax department, which refers permanent account number. Just imagine the PAN application you made with the department. When you have been joining a college or an educational institution, the accounts department is requiring you, so please submit your PAN card. We have to deduct the TDS and something and all. Earlier days, a physical application was filled up along with a photograph and enclosed with the ID proof and address proof, submitted to the franchisee center. After submission, PAN card will be delivered in 15 to 20 days. Those days. But in the last 2 years, if you are linking your Aadhaar number and mobile phone, you will get the e-PAN in 15 minutes. You are linking your Aadhaar number and mobile phone number, you will get the e-PAN in 15 minutes. Open income tax website, apply e-PAN, put your Aadhaar number, and OTP, one-time password will come to your mobile. Just put that OTP, submit. Within 10 to 15 minutes, your PAN card will be displayed. You will download, take a printout, process is over. Just imagine filling an application, photograph, ID proof, address proof, auditor office, paying. But nowadays it is a free of cost. Easily you can obtain PAN card. Change due to information technology. Business registration. In olden days, a person is approaching an auditor, sir, I want to start a business. I want to start a medical shop. I want to start a provision store. I want to start a beauty parlor. Auditor is inquiring about the form of organization. You have to start your business on sole proprietary basis or partnership or company and all. If the person is telling, sir, I want to start my business as a partnership firm, then auditor is creating a partnership deed, an agreement, registered with the registrar of firms, a manual application with the deed, visiting registrar office, submitting the application. After 1 week to 10 days, after having continuous approach to the registrar office, I will get to that firm registration. But now I have to apply for e-registration. In Tamil Nadu, we have a website called tnregi.net. In that website, I have to register my partnership in a very, very easy manner. Within 2 days, I will get certificate through online. It is not at all required to visit the register office personally. Next, there is a very big drastic change. Incorporation of a company. In India, nowadays, so many websites are digitalized. Nowadays, we are paying our electric bill, we are paying our mobile bill, we are paying some other legal bills and duties through online. But the first 100% computerized environment is MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. The major and important form of organization is company. Incorporation of company is consisting of too many compliances those days. In earlier days, we have to follow various steps. Approval of name, drafting of memorandum of association, drafting of bylaws, rules, regulation as articles of association, signatures, stamp papers, submission, everything we are done through manually. There is a person called ROC, Registrar of Companies. He is the in charge. In India, each state is having one registrar. Tamil Nadu, we have 2 registrars. One is in Chennai and another one is Coimbatore. Maharashtra has 2 registrars. One is at Mumbai, another one is at Pune. Because in these 2 states, number of companies are much more higher when compared with other states. This registrar will verify all my documents and make some queries. After having a huge discussions, correspondences and all, he will give approval of my company. But now, incorporation of a private limited or a public limited company is 100% digitalized. India's first 100% digitalized department is Ministry of Corporate Affairs. They are proudly mentioning that in this homepage of their website, MCA 21. It is the 21st century's first digitalized website of Government of India. Today, all these compliances done through online. Signature also, we are using digital signatures. There is a pen drive is there. Digital signatures are already mingled in that PFX file. We are affixing that signature in any file. It is a more transparent system. You can get in through the site and verify any documents related to any company. I don't have shares in Tata company, but I can enter MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs site. I will verify the balance sheet of Tata company. I can verify the balance sheet of Infosys. I can verify the balance sheet of some XYZ, ABC, PQR by paying a normal fees. Sir, why? Whether you are a shareholder, you are giving any amount to the company, what is the purpose? Just to enter into a shop or a hotel or automobile shop, sir, just to show your balance sheet. They will not give. They are immediately asking, who are you? What is the need that I have to show all my accounts to you? But if you are incorporating as a company, all your documents are stored in that MCA website. It is a 100% transparent system. Any public can visit that site. Any public can view any of the documents. The administration of the companies are lying in the hands of Board of Directors. Ministry of Corporate Affairs allotted DIN number, DIN, Director Identification Number. You can be a director of more companies, but the DIN number is constant. Now the work of chartered accountants are more easier when compared to earlier manual environment. Every year, we are filing accounting statements and audit report with the registrar and updated in the website. It can be available to general public. Very great. The next two things. One is income tax, another one is GST. One of the fundamental area of practice of every chartered accountant is income tax. Without knowing income tax, no chartered accountant will survive. Every chartered accountant is specialized in income tax. Before the digitalization, a statement of income is prepared by the auditor after verifying and auditing the books of accounts and other financial statements of assessee. Then, computation of taxable income in accordance with the income tax provisions of that assessment year have been done. Here we have to note a point. In India, Income Tax Act is amended every year. It is changed every year in respect of finance bill. It is not a concept at the time of budget. Even though the person has awareness of tax, seeing the changes by our finance minister. Because Income Tax Act is amending and changing in each year. If you find time, if you get some spare time, please go to your Google and just type halwa ceremony. HALWA, halwa ceremony. Sir, what is it? Halwa? Yes, halwa. Tamil number sapadrom illaya halwa sweet. Halwa ceremony. It is a very interesting story you will read in Google. Later on, just please search and know it. In India, financial year normally commences from 1st April and ends on 31st March of next year. Financial year 1920, financial year 2021, financial year 21-22 and all. Normally in 1st April, financial year will start. Before 2 months, in the month of February, budget will be submitted in Parliament. Earlier days, February 28 will be the normally budget submission day. But the past 3 years, February 1 will be have been the budget submitting day. The budget is called Finance Bill, Nidhi Masoda, Finance Bill. It was submitted by the Union Finance Minister in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Before submitting the Finance Bill, before 2 months, by the mid of December, in Delhi, in Delhi, Ministry of Finance, Union Finance Minister is conducting this halwa ceremony. He or she will prepare halwa. Sir, why they are preparing halwa? Whether there is any specific reason for that? After the halwa is prepared, the staff members, officials, secretary, and other notified persons who are involving in budget preparations are locked in a building. They cannot talk with any outsiders. They can't speak with their family. No communication devices. 1.5 months, they are in a closed room. They are engaging themselves only in budget preparation because it is a very, very secret document. It will be available only to public only after submitting it in Parliament. So 1.5 months, they have been fully dedicated their time for preparing that budget and all. No emails, chats, texts, etc. Actually, this was the first Big Boss house since independence. So nowadays, whatever we are seeing the show Big Boss in our television are just a replica of this halwa ceremony. They all engaged in budget preparations, getting instructions and assignments from Union Finance Minister. Once the budget papers is submitted in Parliament, they got released. It is called a draft finance bill. Once this budget, that is finance bill, is passed in both the houses of Parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and getting assented by the President of India, it is called the Finance Act. Income tax provisions are updated every year in accordance with the Finance Act of that year. It is the duty of every chartered accountant to update these provisions. Last year, children education allowance, this much is taxable. This year, the amount may be doubled. Last year, medical insurance premium, 20,000 is allowed. This year, 25,000 is allowed. Last year, house rent allowance, this is the provision. This year, this is the provision. If a client is approaching, sir, in 17-18, 18-19, my income was that, I have to apply that day provision, this day provision. Earlier days, I have big books. I have to verify. But now, my software is very easily calculating how much is taxable, how much is exempted. Earlier days, the auditor officers are having big bounded books for verifying all these things. But after preparing income tax returns, on those days, auditor visited income tax office, submitting the returns. getting acknowledgement copy of assessing officer, put a signature, come back to his office, submit it to clients. Daily, the auditors are visiting the income tax office. But now, the entire work of income tax department is digitalized. Now, CA is not in requirement of visiting income tax office. They are filing the income tax returns of the assessees in an online portal, getting an acknowledgement, submitting the acknowledgement through to income tax office in a digital mode. If the client is having a digital signature, he will affix the digital signature. If not, if the client is linking his mobile phone with the Aadhaar card, he will get an electronic verification code and submitting the IT returns, or else filing the IT return, getting the acknowledgement, sending the acknowledgement to Bangalore Central Processing Center of IT department. It is very simple. The auditor need not visit any of the income tax office. On those days, after filing income tax return, the department is having some queries. Sir, you are filing a fake return. You are concealing some incomes. You are manipulating your income. Please come and submit all the evidences. Auditor is visiting the offices. It is called a hearing. In court and all, we are telling the first hearing, second hearing, third hearing. Likewise, income tax office also, they are putting hearings to auditors. They are oftenly visiting. But from the last year onwards, it is also coming under the segment called faceless assessment. Nowadays, an auditor is filing an income tax return. The department is having a doubt on the originality of the income. A mail will come, a notice will come. We are having some issues on your income tax returns. Please find your submissions. He will put all his submissions through portal. Department is again asking the query. He will give his explanation. Everything through digital mode. The income tax officer don't know about the client detail. The client don't know about who will inquire my returns. This is called a faceless assessment. On those days, some 10th standard plus 2 papers and all, they are using some dummy numbers. The student is not knowing who will value the paper. The teacher is not knowing in which city's paper, which school's paper, they also don't know. Likewise, nowadays, the income tax appeals also coming under the category faceless assessment. So everything is digitalized. Nowadays, for running an auditor office, I don't need a very big infrastructure, very big building, getting 10 furnitures, 10 things and all, big bones, book stationery, nothing is required. A simple laptop, internet connection, a printer, somewhat technical knowledge and some accounting and taxation knowledge, more enough for doing work. Because on those days, more exposures in CA environment are there in Chennai, Bangalore, Coimbatore and all. In Mofussil areas, CA practice have not that much scope. But nowadays, the big cities auditors are outsourced their work to the auditors practicing in Mofussil area. So I'm just sitting in my home by using my laptop, getting works across the world and finishing the work, submitting my returns and submitting my reports. It will be monetarily and technologically giving much satisfaction to the persons, those who are undertaking the work. At last, very big change, GST. Many of us are having a thought, GST is a new tax. No. Before the introduction of GST, 2017 July 1 was the rolling out day of GST. Before 2007, we have more indirect taxes, central excise, central sales tax, VAT, value added tax, service tax, octroi. All these taxes are clubbed and formed a single taxes called GST. The tagline of GST is one nation, one tax, one mark. Don't pay multi-taxes. It's a cascading effect, tax on tax and all, no need. You have to pay one tax, GST. Sir, if you are telling GST is good, why more people are still resisting GST? You just imagine, many traders, businessmen are telling GST is not good, it affects our business and all. But other side, they are telling, please bring petrol and diesel under GST regime because price will be reduced. So what a controversial thing. They are fighting no GST for their products, but they need GST for petroleum products. In India, petroleum products and alcoholic liquor for human consumption, these two products, GST is not still leviable. All other goods are coming under the regime of GST. What GST is requiring? 100% recording of your business transactions. It is the only requirement of GST. If you are following perfect accounting system and a perfect transparent system of bookkeeping, you should not afraid of GST. GST tax, GST bookkeeping, everything is very normal, but the compliance norms is 100% digitalized. 100% digitalized. For getting GST registration, submitting monthly returns of GST, annual return of GST, nowadays, e-invoicing, e-way bill, if you are transmitting your goods from one city to another city, if the goods worth are more than certain limit, you have to generate a e-way bill. It's a more transparent system. If you are following a transparent bookkeeping and accounts, definitely you should not worry about GST. It is the base thing requirement. If you are following a double accounting, if you are following a black accounting, if you are doing some unauthorized transactions, if you don't want to record all your business transactions, you should be afraid of GST. GST is a destination-based tax. GST is a perfect taxation structure. In France and all, 1964 itself, they have introduced GST. But in India, from the year 2000, in the year 1994, the implementation of GST, they have been starting. But slowly, it has been developing by giving so many changes and all. From the year 2017, it was implemented. GST, we should not compare the conventional into a new system, because GST, first of all, it itself introduced with the digitalization environment. We have a common portal, gst.gov.in. So in income tax, I am comparing earlier days nowadays. In company registration, I am comparing earlier days nowadays. In partnership firm registration, I am comparing. PAN card, I am comparing. GST, I am not having a comparative measure, because GST introduced in a technological background. GST introduced in the information technology era. So, if we are adopting a perfect information technology environment, it is not at all difficult to practice ourselves. We need to look at what things we can change, especially those within our control. We can't expect the public perception to change unless we change our approach. Doing the same thing and expecting new results would be insanity. If we have to assess the risk of fraud, error, everything, having this digitalization environment, really it reduces our work, really it reduces our mental pressure. For running an auditor office without computers is simply unimaginable nowadays. It's the same, a small example I am giving. Today is a monthly shutdown in my area, in our area. Electricity is not available. By morning, the UPS battery backup is coming only for some half an hour to 1 hour. That's all. We are all sitting idle. We don't have any work, because without switched on my computer, I don't know what work I will do. So many clients are approaching, some reports are pending, printouts are things, some filing works are to be done, but the computer is not available. It is not possible for me to do any work. Just I'm imagining, today we are going to speak about this digitalization in CA world. It is a very simple example. Just imagine a day of no charge in your mobile phone, in a travel, in a idle day, in a holiday. Sir, it is an unimaginable. We are slowly brought ourselves to this digitalization. We are using it. We should not bring the digitalization era to dominate our individuality. Because if my client is knowing better, if my client is having better information technology knowledge, somebody is asking, sir, I have a laptop, I have an internet connection. Why don't me to file GST returns? Why I am approaching you? Because he is approaching me to get my signature and my guidance. So I have to develop my accounting knowledge, my taxation knowledge, my consultancy skills, my organizational skills, my communication skills, with the supporting element of information technology. Just by having computer knowledge, that is not sufficient. We are traveling in a dual way. One side, we are developing all our subject stuff. Otherwise, we are developing our technological knowledge. Each one is interdependent with each other. With these few words, I believe that I have shared some of the thoughts regarding this digitalization of information technology's importance, the present era in CA profession and CA world. Now, this floor is open for you. If anybody of you want any query, if anybody of you need any explanation, kindly let me know. Ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, if there's no queries, I think I have given somewhat.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Excellent presentation, sir.
Solunga, sir.
For registration, which one authorized the capital, sir? Whether SEBI or
sir,
controller of capital issue, sir? Registered company.
Sir, regarding registration of a company.
Right, sir.
Sir,
Okay, sir. No problem.
Actually, sir, there is a concept called listed company, unlisted company, sir. Listing is not mandatory, sir. If you wish to enroll your company in a list of a stock exchange, your company is called a listed company. Then only SEBI will enter into the direct administration of you. Otherwise, if I am running a private limited company, for private limited companies, public issue and public subscription is not allowed. For those days, SEBI is having only the supervising power. It will not directly enter into. At that time, registrar of company is having the whole authority, sir. I have to register and
there is no control of capital issue. Sir, at present, there is no control of capital issue.
No, sir. At present, it is not. Sir, at present, so many things are eradicated, sir. Nowadays, only ROC, SEBI, NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal. These are all only the approved authorities, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. That's why I want to. Once upon a time, there is a controller of capital issue. Now, who will give the authority in the?
That's why I am telling, sir. இன்னைக்கு நான் சொன்ன எக்ஸ்பிளனேஷன் நாளைக்கு இருக்குமான்னு தெரியாது சார். நாளைக்கு ஒன்னு புதுசா வரலாம்.
ஓகே சார். எக்ஸலென்ட் சார். நல்லா 100% நல்லா அப்டேட்டட் நாலேஜ்.
எஸ் சார். டெய்லி நோட்டிஃபிகேஷன்ஸ் ஆர் கமிங் சார். We should update our knowledge. அது வந்து once வந்து படிச்சு முடிச்சிட்ட உடனே அதுதான் பேஸ்.
நானும் வாதியார் டெய்லி மாற வேண்டியதா இருக்கு சார். ரொம்ப கஷ்டமா இருக்கு சார். போய் சொல்ல வேண்டியது.
சார் நான் ஏற்கனவே சொன்ன மாதிரி clients reading so many WhatsApp messages and Facebook messages.
நாங்களும் படிச்சுக்கிட்டே தான் சார் இருக்கோம். டெய்லி படிச்சுக்கிட்டு.
ஓகே சார். சார் நீங்க என்ன வாட்ஸ்அப் மெசேஜ் உங்களுக்கு வந்தாலும் நீங்க அந்த டிபார்ட்மெண்டோட அபிஷியல் வெப்சைட்ல நீங்க அதை கன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணாம நீங்க அதை எடுத்துக்காதீங்க சார்.
Thank you, sir. Very nice, sir. Super, sir.
Thank you, sir.
One man company னு ஒன்னு சொல்றாங்க சார். One man company 2013
one person company அப்படிங்கற ஆப்ஷன் வந்து ஒன்னு கம்பெனிஸ் ஆக்ட் 2013ல கொண்டு வந்திருக்காங்க சார். நார்மலா முன்ன வந்து பிஃபோர் 2013 ஒரு கம்பெனி ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணனும்னா பிரைவேட் லிமிடெட் கம்பெனினா மினிமம் 2 பேர் பட் நிறைய பேருக்கு சார் அவங்க கிட்ட கேபிட்டல் ரெக்வயர்மெண்ட்ஸ் கையில இருக்கு. அவங்களுக்கு கம்பெனி அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு எஸ்டாப்ளிஷ்மெண்ட் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணணும், அந்த டைரக்டர் அப்படிங்கிற ஆப்ஷன்லாம் தேவை. பட் யாரையும் சேர்த்துக்க வேண்டாம் அப்படின்னு நினைக்கும் போது அந்த ஆப்ஷன் 1% கம்பெனின்னு கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. பட் லிட்ரலி ஸ்பீக்கிங் கம்பெனிக்கு நீங்க டெஃபினேஷன் எடுத்து பாத்தீங்கன்னாலே மினிமம் டுகெதர் அப்படிங்கிற வார்த்தை வரும் சார். அப்போ 1% கம்பெனில பாத்தீங்கன்னா அவர் தான் இன்வெஸ்டர், அவரே தான் டைரக்டர், அவரே தான் ஷேர் ஹோல்டர், டெசிஷன் எல்லாமே அவரே தான் சார் எடுப்பாரு. பட் அது ஒரு பிரைவேட் லிமிடெட் கம்பெனிங்கிற ஸ்டேட்டஸ் கொடுத்துட்டு பிராக்கெட்ல 1% கம்பெனின்னு போட்டுக்கலாம்னு ஒரு ஆப்ஷன் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க சார். அது விருப்பப்பட்ட யாராவது ஒரு சிங்கிள் பர்சன் அந்த அளவுக்கு கேபிட்டல் ரெக்வயர்மெண்ட் இருந்தா they will start 1% company and doing his business under Companies Act.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. ஒரு ஆஃப் த ரெக்கார்ட் ஒரு क्वेश्चन சார். இந்த ஜிஎஸ்டி வந்து ப்ராப்பரா சார், ஜிஎஸ்டி வந்து எல்லாரும் கட்டுறோம் சார். அது ஆக்சுவலா போய் ரீச் ஆகுதான்னு தெரியல சார். அது செக் பண்றதுக்கு ஏதாச்சும் இப்ப நிறைய ஹோட்டல்ல போய் சாப்பிடுறோம், ஜிஎஸ்டின்னு போடுறான், அவன் ஆக்சுவலா கட்டுறானான்னு தெரியல சார். அது என்ன சார் ஏதாச்சும் ஒரு மாடுலேஷன். நீங்க நல்ல சிஸ்டம் தான், ஜிஎஸ்டி வந்து நெவர் அண்டர் எஸ்டிமேட். பட் இட் இஸ் கோயிங் டு த கவர்மெண்ட் ஆர் நாட்டுங்கிறது ஒரு டெஸ்ட்டுக்கு ஒரு இதுமே there is no mechanism. I think
சார் அது வந்து இப்ப நீங்க வந்து இத சொல்றீங்க சார். நிறைய பேர் வந்து ஜிஎஸ்டி ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷனே பண்ணாம ஃபேக் ஜிஎஸ்டி நம்பர் வச்சு ஜிஎஸ்டி கலெக்ட் பண்ணி அவங்க வச்சுக்கிறவங்களும் இருக்காங்க சார்.
ஆமா
இப்ப
சார்,
நீங்க
அதுதான்
வந்து
சார்.
ஒரு விஷயம் வெரிஃபை பண்ணலாம் சார். ஒரு ஜிஎஸ்டி நம்பரை வச்சு வெதர் ஹி இஸ் அன் ஆத்தரைஸ்டு ரெஜிஸ்டர்டு டீலரா இல்லையாங்கிறத செக் பண்ணலாம் சார். அவர் வந்து இப்போ ஒரு மந்த்லி ஜிஎஸ்டி ரிட்டர்ன் ஃபைல் பண்றாருன்னா அதுல வந்து நிறைய காம்போனன்ட்ஸ் இருக்கும் சார். அவர் என்னென்னலாம் பர்ச்சேஸ் பண்ணாரு, அவர் அந்த மந்த் எவ்வளவு சேல்ஸ் பண்ணியிருக்காருங்கிற என்டையர் டீடைல் இருக்கும். இப்ப ஒரு ஹோட்டல்ல போய் நீங்க சாப்பிடுறீங்கன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன் சார். இப்ப இந்த இன்வாய்ஸ்ல வந்து டெக்னிக்கலா வந்து B2B B2Cன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க சார். பிசினஸ் டு பிசினஸ், பிசினஸ் டு கஸ்டமர்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. இப்ப நம்ம எல்லாம் வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா அந்த கன்சியூமர் கேட்டகரியில வருவோம். நம்ம போறோம், சாப்பிடுறோம். இப்ப ஒரு சரவண பவன்ல நீங்க சாப்பிடுறீங்க. அந்த சரவண பவனுடைய மந்த்லி ஜிஎஸ்டி ரிட்டர்ன் நீங்க எடுத்து பாக்குறீங்க. போன மாசம் சேல்ஸ் வந்து ஒரு 30 லட்சம் காட்டியிருக்காங்கன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன். அந்த 30 லட்சத்துல உங்களுடைய பில் இன்க்ளூட் ஆயிருக்கா இல்லையாங்கிறத ஒரு B2Cல நம்மளால ஸ்பெசிபிக்கா எடுத்து கண்டுபிடிக்க முடியாது சார். அது ஒரு கன்சாலிடேட்டட் அமௌண்ட், அவ்வளவுதான். அது டவுட் வரும்போது நம்ம கவர்மெண்ட்க்கு ஏதாவது அப்ப சார் அது எல்லாமே பில்லிங் குள்ள வருதா அப்படிங்கிற எல்லாமே 100% வந்து வெரிஃபிகேஷன் குள்ள எடுத்துட்டு வர்றது கஷ்டம் தான் சார்.
ஆமா சார், அதுதான் சார் எனக்கு பேத்தட்டிக் சுச்சுவேஷன். நிறைய மெடிக்கல் ஷாப்ல நிறைய இது பண்றாங்க, அதெல்லாம் நிறைய ரிப்போர்ட் வரப்ப இதெல்லாம் செய்யாம என்னதுக்கு சிஸ்டமே சரியில்லாம நம்ம ஏமாறுறோம்.
இன்ட்ரோடியூஸ் பண்ணி ஒரு 4 இயர்ஸ் தான் சார். ஸ்டார்டிங்ல வந்து 2017ல எல்லாம் பாத்தீங்கன்னா இதோட கம்ப்ளைன்ஸ் வந்து ரொம்ப கஷ்டமா இருந்தது சார். அடாப்ட் பண்றதே பாத்தீங்கன்னா நிறைய பேருக்கு வந்து புரியல. இப்பதான் கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா வந்து அதை அடாப்ட் பண்ணி அந்த சிச்சுவேஷனுக்கு வந்து எல்லாருமே பழகிட்டு இருக்காங்க. இன்னும் ஒரு 4-5 இயர்ஸ் ஆகும்போது கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா இப்ப நீங்க சொல்ற அந்த டிஃபிகல்டிஸ் எல்லாத்தையும் கவர்மெண்ட் வந்து ஓவர் கம் பண்ணும் சார். நீங்க வந்து உங்களுடைய சஜஷன்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருந்தா தாராளமா நீங்க ஜிஎஸ்டி டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்டுக்கு வந்து மெயிலாவோ இதாவோ நீங்க கொடுக்கலாம். they will consider சார். ஏன்னா அவங்க அந்த கவுன்சில் மீட் அதெல்லாம் அவங்க போடும்போது அப்பப்ப வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஜிஎஸ்டி டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் வந்து பப்ளிக் வந்து அவுட்ரீச் ப்ரோக்ராம் எல்லாம் கண்டக்ட் பண்ணுவாங்க. அந்த மாதிரி ப்ரோக்ராம்ல எல்லாம் வந்து அந்த கன்சர்ன்ட் அத்தாரிட்டிஸ் இருப்பாங்க. அங்கெல்லாம் போய் நீங்க இந்த இஷ்யூஸ் எல்லாம் சொன்னீங்கன்னா they will consider சார்.
Thank you sir, thank you sir. Thank you sir, thank you sir.
Okay sir, thank you sir.
Sir, I hope question session is over.
Okay,
so now, yes, sir. Now I call upon Ms. Berlin, Assistant Professor of Commerce, Holy Cross College, to propose the oath of thanks.
Gratitude is a powerful catalyst for happiness. It's a spark that lights a fire of joy in your soul. At times, our own light goes out and it is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. I deem it as a great privilege to propose the vote of thanks by giving glory to the Almighty Lord for making this second day FDP successful. My sincere gratitude to our respected principal, Reverend Dr. Sister Christina Bridget, for being a supporting pillar in all our marches towards the excellence. With a deep sense of appreciation, I thank our speaker, Ms. Sharada Ashok, for giving knowledge about CA and the drastic changes happening in the world of the students who are marching to become a chartered accountant. Dear ma'am, I thank our speaker, Ms. Vignesh Kumar, for providing a very detailed knowledge about the chartered accountancy. I really admire at your tireless efforts taken for today's session, dear speakers. Wholeheartedly, we really thank you, ma'am, and we really thank you, sir. I'm so thankful to you all, the participants, for your active participation in today's session. Once again, I thank you all. Let us all meet tomorrow for the third day of FDP by 3:15 p.m. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.